There are moments in life when you come across people who, on the surface, seem to have no reason to worry. Their lives look normal. They are not facing tragedies or deep losses, yet you can see that something within them is unsettled. Their minds are not at rest. They seem to carry an invisible burden that others cannot see. These are the people who live much of their lives in a constant state of overthinking, trapped in their own thoughts, unable to find peace even when everything outside looks calm. The question arises, why does this happen? Why do only a small number of people fall into this cycle of overthinking while most live an ordinary life, untouched by such deep mental storms? Is it possible that these people are not just unfortunate souls, but rather special individuals, people with the capacity for something greater, but who have been led astray from their true purpose? Could it be that their minds, so powerful and sharp, are both their greatest gift and their greatest curse? When you observe closely, you will see a pattern. Many of these people who overthink are not average in their capacity to understand or to dream. They are often intelligent, deeply sensitive, and capable of reaching insights far beyond what others might grasp. But instead of using this sharpness to cut through the illusions of life, their mind becomes a double-edged sword that turns inward, cutting them from within. They think, they analyze, they worry, and they question until their very strength becomes their greatest weakness. History has shown us many such souls, men and women who might have reshaped the world if only they had been able to step out of the prison of their own thoughts. Some of them remained unknown, their brilliance buried in silence. Others, despite their struggles, managed to leave behind a trace of their vision, a glimpse of what could have been. But countless others wasted away in the quiet battle of the mind, their potential dimmed by the shadows of overthinking. And yet, we must not see this as merely a flaw. Overthinking does not simply strike by accident. There is a deeper truth hidden here. Often, those who fall into this trap are the very ones who have the potential to bring great change. Their targets in life are not small. They carry within them the seeds of something vast, something capable of altering the fabric of society, or even reshaping how humanity understands itself. And because their purpose is so strong, so unique, they are also the ones most vulnerable to being diverted from their path. It is as if the universe recognizes their power, but before they can claim it, they must face the trial of their own minds. Overthinking becomes both a test and a distraction, pulling them away from action and burying them in endless cycles of what if and why not. Hours become days, days become years, and their great potential becomes a dream that never manifests. This is one of the greatest tragedies of human existence, that the ones who could have been the strongest pillars are sometimes the ones who crumble under the weight of thought. But what exactly is overthinking? It is not simply thinking too much. It is a misdirection of energy. Imagine that the human mind is like a river. When its flow is directed toward a clear goal, the river waters the land. It nourishes crops. It gives life. But when that same river turns inward, flooding its own banks, it destroys the land, erodes the soil, and drowns what was meant to grow. The mind is the same. Focused thought builds worlds, invents machines, writes poetry, heals the sick, and creates solutions. But scattered thought, thought without direction, creates only fear, anxiety, and paralysis. Overthinking is the flood of the river with no channel to contain it. It is not the mind itself that is the enemy. It is the lack of direction, the lack of spiritual strength that allows thought to spiral endlessly with no purpose. To understand this more deeply, consider this. The human being is not just flesh and bone. Within you, there is a force, a spiritual power that moves you toward your true path. It is not abstract or imaginary. It is as real as your heartbeat. Just as your body has muscles that give it strength, your spirit has a power that drives your vision, your clarity, your ability to see beyond the immediate. Without this power, the mind is left to wander on its own, like a ship with no anchor in a restless sea. Overthinking arises when the spirit is silent, when that inner compass is not being followed. In such moments, the mind begins to run in circles, chasing its own tail, because it no longer hears the deeper direction of the soul. This is why strengthening your spiritual power is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the very thing that aligns your mind with your purpose, transforming overthinking into vision and restlessness into clarity. You may ask, how do we know this is real? How do we know it is not simply imagination? The truth is that history itself proves it. Think of those who changed the course of human destiny. They were not always people with extraordinary wealth or even extraordinary education, but they had something within them, a force that allowed them to see beyond the ordinary. They were not content to chase small targets. Where most saw a pencil, they saw an idea. Where most saw a wall, they saw a door. The same effort that others gave to small gains, they gave to great visions. And their results shaped the world we live in today. What does this mean? It means the capacity is already within you. The power is not something you must borrow from outside. It is already inside, waiting to be awakened. Overthinking blinds you to this power, but once you turn inward with strength, you can use the very energy that once distracted you to fuel your highest purpose. There is another truth hidden in plain sight. Many of those who are burdened by overthinking have sharper minds than the average person. Their ability to see patterns, to connect thoughts, to imagine futures is far more advanced than what most around them can do. That is why they suffer more. Their thoughts race because they see more possibilities. They analyze deeply because they notice what others miss. And yet, this gift, left unmanaged, becomes their cage. But imagine for a moment, what if they could direct this same power with clarity? What if instead of scattering their thoughts across endless worries, they focus them like a beam of light on one purpose? Just as sunlight can warm the skin, but a focused ray can ignite fire, so too the focused mind can achieve wonders that scattered thought never will. This is not theory, it is physical. It is as real as the difference between a whisper and a roar. Consider your own life. Have you ever found yourself worrying about something that never actually happened? You wasted hours, perhaps days, imagining all the ways things could go wrong, only to realize later that none of it was real. That is the trap of the mind left alone. It invents scenarios that may never exist. And in doing so, it robs you of the present, of the energy you could have used to take even the smallest step toward your goal. Now think again. Have you ever had a moment where your mind was clear, where your energy was directed, where you knew exactly what you needed to do? In that moment, you may have achieved more in 1 hour than in days of worry. That clarity is the difference between a spirit-led mind and a wandering mind. It is the difference between overthinking and action. The tragedy is that many never discover this. They live and die within the cage of their thoughts, never realizing they had the key in their hands all along. They do not see that overthinking is not a curse, but a signal. It is a sign that their mind is powerful, that their spirit is waiting to lead them, but that they have not yet learned how to unite the two. The restless mind is like a loud child, crying out for direction. Once you guide it with the strength of your inner self, it becomes not a distraction, but a servant. And when the mind becomes the servant of the spirit, there is nothing in this world you cannot achieve. Look around you. Some people live with their eyes fixed only on what they see, the sun, the moon, the objects in front of them. But within you, there is an unseen eye, a deeper vision that can expand your sight beyond the limits of flesh. This is not fantasy. It is the untapped potential of human perception. History is full of men and women who prove that the human being can expand its vision far beyond what is ordinary. This shows us one simple truth. The door is already there. It does not need to be built. It only needs to be opened. And when you open it, overthinking dissolves. Because now, your thoughts are not trapped within a cage. They are aligned with the vastness of your spirit. So the next time you find yourself caught in endless thoughts, remember this. It is not because you are weak. It is not because you are broken. It is because you are strong. It is because your mind holds more power than most, and it is calling you to master it. Overthinking is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning. It is the sign that you are being called to awaken something deeper. And when you do, when you align your mind with your spirit, you will see that the very thing that once weighed you down becomes the thing that lifts you higher than you ever imagined. Your overthinking will transform into vision, your restlessness into action, and your scattered energy into a force so focused, so powerful, that it will not only change your life but touch the lives of those around you. This is the truth hidden in the silence of your own thoughts.